As the inauguration draws near, Washington is abuzz with preparations for the swearing in of this country's 45th president. NBC's Chris Jansing on Capitol Hill this afternoon with a behind-the-scenes report on what will happen Friday, and we're getting an exclusive here during the 1 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we're about to show you things that no one has seen before. As you said, an exclusive look at exactly where Donald Trump will go to take the oath of office. It will start up here in a room known as the holding room. We can't tell you exactly where it is for security reasons, but then he's going to come through the crypt. That is a place, if you've been to the Capitol, if you've been on a tour, they have the 13 statues representing the original 13 states. Every tour is there. And then it's about 35 steps down into the history books. And so it's appropriate that a former history teacher is our guide and a current U.S. Senator, Roy Blunt. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, Chris, nice to be with you.
You are also the head of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies.
Right.
Are you guys ready?
We're ready. We're ready.
What do you really want to come out of Friday? What's your top priority?
You know, my top priority is for people all over the world to see what happens here. Reagan said in his first inaugural that what we do here is commonplace and miraculous. Commonplace because we figured out how to do it every 4 years since about 1789, and miraculous because we've done it every 4 years since 1789.
And think about the momentousness of what has happened along this stairwell. Right. So let's take a little walk, shall we? We're going to finish this walk as we're going to head out to where the ceremony will be held. Security, also a very big issue here. You're feeling confident about that? It is by far the biggest expense of this $200 million extravaganza.
Well, it is. And, you know, my goal is for people when they leave here on Friday, when they walk away from the Capitol, to feel like they had all the freedom you could possibly have and still have all the security you'd want. I've served on the Senate and House Intel Committee for a number of years. I don't know what it'd be like if you had this job and you were on the Intel Committee, because a lot of things with our security team you just don't even have to talk about. You know, there are lots of things out there that can happen, and we're going to do everything we can to be sure they don't happen.
And the final touches are being put on the things that you can see. Let's just step aside for a second. You can see the ladder is here, but the plastic is down. That's not going to come up until the president-elect actually makes this walk. So Donald J. Trump will be walking on a pristine, I'm sure, newly cleaned carpet, newly cleaned floors here. What do you imagine this is like? These final minutes before you go out and face essentially the world.
You know, I think it's hard to imagine what it's like for the president-elect. I've always thought it was a good thing you don't become president the day after the election. You become president now quicker than you did early in the country's history when it was March, but still you have 10 or 11 or 12 weeks to think about what it's going to mean when all of that responsibility actually is your responsibility. And, you know, I always find myself at the inaugurations I've attended looking at the moment the new person takes the oath of office, looking over at the person who that responsibility just went to somebody else, and wonder what's going through their mind that they have successfully, even this event, anything that goes wrong until the new president's sworn in, President Obama is responsible for decisions to be made.
So if something happens in this moment, it's his.
It's his.
So there's also one little thing that we should tell you about. Over on that wall, nothing there right there, on the right, just to the other side of Senator Blunt, but there will be a mirror. One final check that he can make, sort of the last commonplace thing that he gets to do to make sure everything is in place. And then you come out here, and you have this. And even though he has had 10,000, 15,000 people sometimes, he's going to walk out here. How many people will he see when he looks out here?
You know, I expect there are going to be about 750 or 800,000 people here.
250,000, I understand, are ticketed.
We'll have a ticket. We'll come through the magnetometers. We'll be directed to wherever their ticket says they can sit or stand. And then there'll probably be another 500,000 plus people between here and the Lincoln Memorial. And you're going to come at this. This is actually a better place to see it than when we get down to where the podium is, because the podium is sort of blocked a little bit by that big camera stand. But from here, when you look out there and see all the people that are here for the purpose of seeing this event, the transfer of power, And you know, in our country since World War II, only one time has the same political party held the presidency 3 times in a row. So the transfer of power, more often than not, is not just changing a person, but changing a political party.
1,600 people will be here. That includes members of the Supreme Court, members of Congress. They're putting in the final plexiglass, the glass that will protect the podium will go up here. You've been here for 20 years. What's the one thing you think about when that oath of office is happening?
I think the one thing I think about first is we've once again seen something happen that seems easy, that seems hard so many other places in the world, and then thinking about what's happening to the person who that great responsibility has just been lifted off of. From that moment on, President Obama becomes one of the other former presidents. No more authority, no less authority than any of them, and none of them have any more authority than the average citizen in our country. But all that responsibility has just transferred to somebody else, and it's millions of people all over the world will watch this. I think, maybe 40 million people at the time. Millions of others will watch or listen to it over the coming days, and it's a great example of how a democratic country is supposed to work.
Senator, thank you so much. Good luck on Friday.
Great to be here.
Craig, back to you.
What a fascinating look there, Chris Jansing. Thank you so much, and please pass along our thanks to the senator from Missouri as well.